Hi everyone, in the last video we have seen how to make a game loop and we made this box oscillating animation. So in this video we would be writing the snake.js file and we would try to make one game, something of this form. Okay, so let me show you what we are going to build. We are going to build this particular game. Okay, so this is what we are going to build. Okay, so you have a snake, you have a food object, and you have a score object also. Okay, so you have something to display the score. So once the game is over, you will get this kind of a pop-up, game over. So this is what is the final goal, and this is what we are going to finally build. Okay, so if I just show you the HTML, so it's the same HTML file. Okay, we have a canvas element. Okay, and maybe you can just remove this because we have given the height and width in the JS file. We can give, okay, we have not given but we can give. So this is the default height and width. So when you're initializing your game, the first step would be to get the canvas element and get the pen. So I can say var canvas equal to document dot get element by id. So the document object is directly accessible in JS code and we can find the canvas by its id. Let's call it as my canvas. So once we have the canvas, we can say okay, canvas dot width equals to canvas dot height equals to, let's say, 1000. Let's see, and we have made a call to init function here as well. Okay, so let's see. Yes, so we have this canvas which is now ready, and we can also say w equal to h equal to this. So I created two more variables, w and h, and both of them are also 1000. Okay, so another thing is we need a pen object to draw something on the canvas. So I can say pen equals to canvas dot get context, and here I say it's a 2D context. Okay, so what we will do first is we will try to create a snake object. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm first going to set up a snake object. So in the init function itself, I'm going to say I have a snake object. Okay, and let's say snake is equal to it's going to be a JSON like object. Okay, and snake, how do we now create a snake? Okay, so I have to specify how many cells a snake will have. So let's say the initial length of the snake, that is 5 cells, and maybe one property could be the color of the snake. Let's say the color is blue. Okay, and let's say cells. So snake has an array called cells, and let's say it's a empty array, and let's say I have something called a default direction of the snake, in which direction a snake is going to move. Let's give it as a string, and let's say it is in moving in the right direction. Okay, so what we need to do is, and also if you want to create a snake object, then it should have actually 5 cells if the initial length is 5. So I will define a function called create snake. It's going to be a function like this. Okay, and what I will do, I will add some cells in this particular snake. Okay, so I have a 2D grid. Okay, so if I want to make certain cells, I have to give the coordinates. Okay, so let's say this is my this cell is, so each cell will have a x coordinate and a y coordinate. So initially I'm going to just create it in a row like this. Let's say this is y equal to 0 and x goes from x is 0, x is 1, x is 2, x is 3, and x is 4, something like this. Okay, so what I will do, I will use a for loop for where I equal to this dot initial length, I greater than equal to 0, I minus minus, and I can say this dot cells dot push. Okay, I will create another object in which x coordinate is I and y coordinate is 0. So I'm basically creating an array. Okay, So that's what my snake is. So if I have done this one, so I can also make a function called draw snake. Okay, so if I want to draw a snake, so now drawing part of the snake can be done in two ways. One thing is you can write in the draw function, okay, how to draw the snake. Other method would be a snake knows itself how to draw, okay, but we will call this function in the draw function only, okay. So when you want to draw a snake, what you will do, for each cell you will draw a rectangle of let's say 50 cross 50, okay. Let's say a snake is going to have some size from each xy, so we are going to iterate over each x1 y1 x2 y2 and draw rectangles that will show on the screen. So this is how we are going to draw the snake. So we can use this function called pen.fillRectangle, okay, and we can iterate over each cell of the snake to draw it. So let me show you. I can say pen.fillRectangle, this dot cells I dot x, okay, this dot cells I dot y, and whatever is the size you want to keep, okay, let's say cell size. So snake has a certain cell size, okay, let's say it is 50. So I can say or let me just define this variable outside, because I might be needed it might be needed otherwise also. Let's say cell size is 50. We can use the same variable for food also, okay, cs comma cs. So let's see what will happen now, okay. So two more things we need to do. Firstly, we need to call snake.createSnake. This will go in the init function, and in the draw function we need to call this function snake.drawSnake, okay. So this is what we actually need to do. So let me show you now. There could be some error, okay, there is no error. Let's say snake dot okay, let's see what is a snake, okay. So it has a cells array, that is an array of 5 cells, and this is the cells array, okay. So cells has 5 JSON objects, okay, and okay, it has actually 6 objects. So let me see what we have done. Okay, we have done till greater than equal to 0. Now if we just do till greater than 0, we will have 5 cells in the snake, okay. So okay, snake is there, all right, okay. So we actually have to also call in the game loop, we have to call the draw function and the update function. So that should make our snake visible on the screen. I is not defined, so oh right, so this is actually a problem. So we forgot to add a loop, so we need to draw all the cells for where I equals to 0, I less than this dot cells dot length length I plus plus. So there are some problems in this code which I want you to think about, and we will solve those issues as well, okay. So that issues with the drawing, okay. Now you may see that this cell is actually looking like a single box, okay. So why this is a problem? Because x coordinates are like this, 1 2 3 4 5. So if you just draw a box here and then you draw a box 1 pixel afterwards and 1 pixel afterwards, you will just see a very small box of, let's say, this length is 50 and this length is 55, something like this. So effectively we should map these with coordinates, like first cell is on, let's say, 0, the next cell is on 50, the next cell is on, let's say, 100. So this is how the x coordinate of the cells should change. So when you're drawing a snake, you should also multiply with the cell size, okay. So that's what I wanted to say. Same goes with y, okay. Let's see now. Okay, now it looks somewhat better. And suppose I also want to give some separation. between two cells. Okay, so now they are joined together. So what I can do, I can reduce the thickness of the cell by 2 pixels so that I see a distinction between different cells. Mm, sorry, this should be here. Okay, so it should be like this. Yeah, now you can see we have drawn 5 cells, and maybe we should increase the size of the snake, okay, little bit. So I'm going to increase the cell size. Let's say it's going to be 67 pixels. I have made one calculation, okay, so that this matches with the grid size. Okay, so grid size is around 66 or 67 pixels. So that's what the snake size should be around. Okay, so this is now the snake object that is displayed on the screen. Okay, so okay, and so this is the first part, and now we have to think of the next step. That would be to add some movement to the snake, that we will see in the next video.